Sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim-flam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, an abbreviated week after a long holiday weekend. And boy, do we love those long holiday weekends, especially when the holidays entail a lot of drinking and stirring the pot on Let's Eat South Florida. Boy, did I have a fun day yesterday, gentlemen.
What did you do now?
Oh no, I don't know. I was just like basically on the group all day while we were having a nice cookout at Val's house. Her family and grandkids.
You could have been paying attention to your lovely girlfriend.
No, I was paying attention, half-assed, but we
appreciating all the things that they're doing for you.
I did, and her son made his patented burgers, and that was good, and had some Nathan's hot dogs in honor of the Kobayashi chestnut battle.
Now, what kind of hot dogs were they eating there, though? They never specified a brand.
No,
This should have been like Hebrew Nationals or something.
I got a whole bunch of my list of things to cover today is very lengthy, and in one of the topics is how I should be the new color commentator for competitive eating. I think my next career, you know how Norman Chad went from, sports writer to then becoming like the analyst and humorous analysis of poker tournaments. I think I should do that for anytime there's a competitive eating battle, because I was pointing out things to the group as we were watching that then the color announcers like mentioned 10 minutes later. Yeah. One of them being that this was kind of not a bogus competition, but it's comparing apples and oranges when you're comparing Nathan's hot dogs with natural casings to what they were consuming was ballpark franks. And ballpark franks are
smaller.
Crap.
I mean, easier to consume. Sure.
They don't have the natural casing. They just mush. You can mush them, and they're compactable a lot easier.
Yeah, the record was bogus. There's an asterisk. It's like Roger Maris. Did I care that he had 8 extra games? No, but
I was pointing out to the crew. I said, this is really easier for them, even though they're not allowed to separate from the buns from the hot dogs and dunk them in the punch. I mean, that made it a little bit more interesting and challenging. But the whole natural casings versus a ballpark mush dog is, and then 10 minutes later, the announcer said he noted the difference between the Nathans and the ballpark franks. And I was like,
you're missing the main point, though.
Pointed
out to me by the Polyman. Who texted me and said, can you believe this, man? Like 2 of the 3 of the hot babe commentators picked Kobayashi, who everybody knew was a shot fighter. This guy was like gargling with tofu a couple of years ago because he couldn't take the psychology of it all. I mean, he was being just dominated by Joey Chestnut. And so he had no chance. And they still were trying to tout the fact when he was down like 17 dogs that he had a shot in this thing.
Oh, no, it was...
And the Polyman pointed out to me, he could have shoveled these things up his ass and not had enough time to catch Chestnut. Now, and they're still making it seem like it's a contest. Get out of here, man.
With apologies to Gretchen and everybody eating lunch now. That's a visual we don't want to necessarily think about.
But everybody was thinking the same thing.
But you're absolutely right. And had I been...
It wasn't me. That was all Polyman.
No, but had I been the color commentator, I would have called a spade and a shot fighter. It's obvious to see that Joey Chestnut has Kobayashi's number. Kobayashi is the shell of the eater that
one guy's in his prime. The other guy pioneered the whole
Chestnut
genre.
Is a freak. He's a Franken freak. Let's face it. And he, in the middle of the thing, when it was the 5-minute mark, look, I set the line.
It was over in minute 1.
I set the line here at 12 and a hook dogs on Friday, and basically Chestnut destroyed it. I did like the way that they weighed the scraps and the uneaten bits and the things that had fallen, and they actually deducted Kobayashi hot dog. Did you catch that? It was freaking
I didn't
gross.
See that. You know what? I had a confused version of my viewing of the thing because I don't know. I must have punched it on a record or stall or something. And so I kept coming back to the same point where it was 13 minutes off in the main event, even though the main event was over. But I mean, look, we all knew what this was. I don't know. Is it Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? I mean, at least there, you don't know. Tyson at 58, is he really dangerous? But Chestnut versus Kobayashi, this was, like throwing, I mean, before he checked out this year, if you had thrown Shaq out there against Bill Russell, I mean, look, Shaq's going to win.
Here's what I would have said. Like halfway through, I think the only thing Kobayashi preventing him from just quitting was that just shame. It would have been utter shame. He knew he was done. And I said after this was over.
But it was not a noble effort. I mean, Mr. Food,
of course.
Look, 63 dogs of 66. Any variety. I don't care if he's eating like little hot dogs at a bar mitzvah. I mean, in a jacket. 60 of them in 10 minutes is still pretty good. Lubie, I've seen Lubie do 60 of those, though.
The ballparks, you could eat a
No, I'm talking about the pigs in a blanket that you get as an hors d'oeuvre at a bar mitzvah or a wedding.
No, if I was there, I would have eaten one hot dog in one bite, and then that's it. I would have been done.
It's true. I mean, this is what the handicappers are saying. That and Andy is the biggest proponent of this. That if you just had to go like ability to consume food in one bite, you can go toe to toe with Chestnut. But when it comes to overall stamina, I mean, you can shovel as much food in your face in one bite as anybody. We've seen that.
Right.
I don't know that anybody else, could compete there. So maybe you ought to get into a new category. What's the name of the guy? The guy that does the announcing at the Nathan's thing?
Yeah,
and he kind of runs the whole food.
Something West or something. I don't know.
He seems like a real charlatan, by the way. I mean, he seems like one of these guys that would be abusing dogs or something. But nonetheless, not that disparages, his whole, persona. But he should start a new category with you. No.
Well, I'm cheap speed. I mean, I could just cram down that one hot dog in one bite, and that's it. I'd throw in the towel. I wouldn't even want to attempt anything else. But
you shouldn't have to, because it's a walk-off home run when you do that.
You're a sprinter. Yeah,
when you do it right, it's a walk-off homer.
Drop the mic, drop the napkin, whatever it is, and just walk off. But I cannot do a sustained 10 minutes, 83. All right, the final tally for those who didn't watch it on Netflix or don't have Netflix, 83-66 was the final tally. So Joey Chestnut prevailed by 17 points.
17 dunks.
Which is kind of like watching the guys from Chestnut Hill at BC going against the FSU. Sorry, Lubie.
But what do you mean, sorry, Lubie, Mayo? Are you going to distance yourself from your own daughter?
No.
Are you disowning your own daughter now that she's an FSU fan?
I feel bad for her.
You immediately attributed, this is despicable, you immediately attributed the Mayo jinx to your daughter because she went to the FSU game. Her first game ever, and they get disgraced by Boston.
I got an update. She ended up doing so much tailgating. She
never got to the game.
She didn't get to the game.
Night games there.
Did she tell a story anyway? I mean,
she spared herself the indignity. She ended up being the wisest move of all was not to go into the stadium and witness any of that. Poor Joe Beja going with his daughter for her 21st birthday celebration. But no, did you see what I posted after? And this game was hard to watch, Libby. They just would never in it. They're not a good team. I mean, they can't run, they can't pass, and they can't play any defense. Their interior defense.
It's a bad formula. Yeah, really poor combination. Yes.
And to have a home opener like that, the way I posted is like I said, it's unbelievable. I said my daughter goes off to FSU. Tallahassee, expecting to see a playoff-bound football program, and she ended up getting basically a team that looks like my Division III non-scholarship school, the Tufts Jumbos. At this point, I think the Jumbos would have given BC a better game than your Seminoles at this point.
Did you have any sign action when your boy Sarnia?
I did not.
No,
I congratulated him, and I said the parlay of the day would have been Chestnut and Chestnut Hill because that's the area.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, but I mean, you can't bet Chestnut. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Where you have these prohibitive favorites, always a bad move to. Like you could lay 2,000 to win 100 on Carlos Alcaraz, second round of the U.S. Open against some guy named Von Schlepp, and I mean, what are the odds he's going to lose? Like zero. And he ends up losing, and if you were the sucker that said, "Hey, look, this will be the easiest 1,000 I ever made. I want to put 20 grand on Alcaraz to beat this schmuck," and now you got to win like your next 20.
No, but
of
the thing
those
is,
bets to get
if
even.
if somebody set a line, and I set the line at 12.5, but if you bet like Chestnut given the 12.5, and then BC on the money line, you could have made some money, I imagine. I don't know what the actual line. Did Vegas have a line?
Hard Rock probably on the app. You could go ahead and do
Sarni, let
that.
me know, because that battle did take place in Vegas, and all I know is that after that's over, after you get smoked by whatever 17 hot dogs and disgraced by having a hot dog deducted for not being able to, it's falling out of your mouth, dribbling like me at a lunchbox remote show. That Kobayashi just needs to go back to Japan and fall on his.
No,
sausage.
he's finished. I mean, that was it.
Fall on his sausage.
What can he
as
do
you
now?
say,
I
instead
mean,
of
he's
his-
got to take up tennis or something. I don't know.
No, but
and
he's
no.
done.
How did we get this far in the show and you never mentioned what you ate on Labor Day,
Wait,
which is
I
a
want-
great eating day,
I
Mayo.
want
A
want
great
to-
eating day.
I just want to wrap up one cynical point about this whole Netflix thing.
I got a lot of input on social media there, Facebook, I guess. I must have had 100 inquiries about Netflix and whether I wanted to. I already have it, but I mean, a lot of come-on offers to subscribe.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, look, they do their thing. They did the Tom Brady live roast. They're doing some other things. Netflix does Netflix, and they have millions of dollars to throw around, and God bless them. My conspiracy theory involves this: was the whole Nathan's banishment of Joey Chestnut just part of a larger promotional marketing scheme? Because you'll notice Nathan's was mentioned a ton of times during yesterday's broadcast.
They even were wearing Nathan's shirts a few times in the pictures. Yeah.
They were using licensed footage from Nathan's to show the past battles. I'm sure Netflix paid Nathan's a pretty penny to get the rights to show that.
Yeah.
And in the end, Nathan's, even though they didn't allow Chestnut to compete because of his new sponsorship with the vegan dog,
He's a vegetarian all of a sudden.
but basically, Nathan's got a big promo in the whole thing. They kept mentioning him, kept showing him. So
Sure.
I think this was all concocted. It was collusion.
Reasonable
it's
conspiracy
rigged,
theory by you, Mayo.
And,
not bad.
And Nathan's ends up reaping lots of publicity. So does Ballpark Franks.
Lubie, you
and-
buying it? Are you buying the conspiracy?
No,
theory?
100%. The whole
Yeah.
from the beginning, the whole thing seemed weird.
Yeah, and all I know is this:
Trying to-
I miss. They did some warm up undercard events with eating chicken wings. One guy,
Yeah, the
taking
chick
on
with the
3
watermelon, that was a little ridiculous. With the woman from, I mean, where was she from? She just come from like the funeral for the Queen. I mean, what was
She's
she dressed
English.
like?
She's a
The
British
Guinness World Record people. Do they have to be strange to keep track of these records? Come on, the records are strange
Obviously,
enough.
yes, it's very strange. All I know as far as
Watermelon
Day,
consumption in a 3-minute span. Come on.
Labor Day
Man.
traditions, I much prefer the Jerry Lewis telethon. I love watching.
Oh, that
Jerry
was great,
Lewis
man. That was
after
awesome.
being up
Yeah.
30 straight hours, and then you'd bring out Sammy Davis and Dean Martin all acting drunk at the end, and then they'd bring
But how
the
bombed
kids.
were they? I mean, that was a good thing. I mean, we didn't even know. We were so innocent back then. We
It's
never.
fantastic. And Ed
suspected
McMahon also soused and doing the drum roll of what the final tally was.
Little Sally Jones from Fire Department Unit 127. The Girl Scouts raised. I mean, he was brilliant, man.
I
And
miss
you,
those
you
things.
would like be overwhelmed with joy when they eclipsed the total,
Yeah.
like the projected total. that
I
they
would
were looking for.
cry
It
every
was like
year.
a pick six pool that goes to
And-
20 million.
And when Jerry Lewis would sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," I mean, there was no better moment on the calendar.
he was great, man. I loved it when he got to the stage where he was really burnt down. I was only a little kid back then. I mean, you must have really been young.
He started smoking cigarettes and blowing the smoke in the kids'
Oh man,
faces.
he's doing cocaine back there with Dean Martin. I mean, they had a line of blow, even though it was like the '60s.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were the days, my friends. So we thought they'd never.
They
end.
were ahead of their time in terms of partying. Those guys.
That's
They
true.
paid a price
Meanwhile-
for it, no doubt. They paid a price.
Meanwhile, it's September. It's football season, and I'm in a great mood because I got myself a new used car this week. It was a very productive weekend. A lot
Oh,
of
you didn't
eating.
say anything about
Oh
that.
yeah, you bought a car. What do you
I,
got?
s-
Yeah, you
I
gotta
got
get
a 2022. What is it? A Kia Sportage, which is
What Porsche? What is it again?
Sportage.
The box car.
it's like a SUV, one of those
Oh,
Yes,
compact
okay.
Sportage, be a
SUVs.
crossover.
But it only has 14,000 miles,
Oh, yeah.
14,000 miles on it, 14,000. So it was practically new. It was leased.
2-year-old car that had been driven 7,000 miles a year.
No, actually, it's almost the guy
Remember, this is
leased.
like year 3.
He leased it in November of 21. One lessee. He returned it a couple of weeks ago. So the
Is this your
average was-
Hollywood Kia guy, the mayor of Hollywood?
No, he
No?
sold that. I went up to Phil Smith Kia up
There you
in
go.
your neck of the woods in Lighthouse Point. Fantastic, very
Oh,
smooth.
very good.
And they had a good deal. I got the car with 14,000 miles, and I did the add-on. You get the 10-year, 100,000
I got
warranty.
the extended warranty. Good move.
Yeah. And so I got that all in.
That's good on a used car, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
only
Because
14,000 miles. I mean, it's almost like you still
It's like a new
goes-
car, man. You stole this thing, Mayo.
it goes for 100,000 miles or until November of 2031, whichever comes first. I got that at a reasonable price. All in, I got this car for with the tax. I mean, it was 20,000 plus tax and the little title shticklock. So instead of paying 32,000 for a brand new car, 20,000 for a vehicle.
I hope you're voting for Joe Biden or no, Kamala Harris at this point.
Well,
I mean, because look, that's clearly a byproduct of him clearing out the economy. No one is taking better advantage of what's going on in the economy right now than you, Mike.
Me. Buy low, sell high.
Unbelievable.
I actually went looking for cars. They had no used cars. So when I wanted a used car, so I ended up getting a new car, leasing that.
Yeah.
For way more than what you're getting this car for. So in the last year, a lot of things have changed. So good for you.
I'm smiling today.
You probably get early qualification for Social Security and Medicare.
And how's this for degeneracy? The closing weekend of Saratoga, Kentucky Downs, I'm losing hundreds left and right. And I just say, it's okay. I just saved like $12,000 instead of buying a new car. And Val gives me a look like, okay, if that's how you're going to go, if that's the rationalization.
Well, I mean, I don't know. This new experiment is going to be, well, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be great. No, she's not. She's not judgmental.
It's not her we're worried about, Mayo. Quirky would not be enough of a broad description to describe your behavior. That's
me?
for sure.
I'm a freak.
Yeah,
I mean,
just from what I've seen, I mean, it's not like we spend every.
I already
waking hour
started
together. Yeah.
at the cookout yesterday. Okay,
Who did you insult yesterday? Oh no!
So she bought.
You said her son overcooked the burgers.
No.
Oh,
The burgers were great. I didn't say anything like that. What I said was
you couldn't help yourself.
She cracks out the condiments, and what's one thing that's going to set me off more?
Oh, it's yellow mustard for hot dogs?
No, it was
ketchup?
Like the Publix store brand ketchup instead of the Heinz.
Instead of something decent. Yeah.
And Heinz was BOGO this week, and I was like,
Really? You brought that up at the barbecue?
I brought it up to her. I gotta be me. I can't help myself.
Oh, Christ! I don't want to bring religion into this.
But no, I mean, look. Do you think there's a difference between the Publix brand, store brand ketchup?
Yeah, I would think so. Sure.
I know over the year, I used to be very strict.
Look, brands of mustard definitely have their own.
Heinz versus Hunt. Hunt was definitely a definitive, but what they've done now they've done a lot of generics where the generic is either a generic Hunt or a generic Heinz. So what I've learned is as long as it's generic like the Heinz, it tastes.
Try not to put the C word against Hunt because it's like the ending with the generic.
Why is it
leading into
Hunt?
Hunt?
Isn't that the name of the company?
Yes, it is. But when you say generic Hunt, you got to keep space because otherwise it's like the whole Larry David beloved ants episode, and we don't want to get in any more trouble.
When you get the generics, they're actually not that bad. It's
all right. So
that was your comment. You know what? I mean, that was a reasonable comment, man.
Here's one.
You should have kept it to yourself, but I mean, it was a reasonable observation, especially for a
food
man in
critic.
your position. You're a food critic, administrator of Let's Eat South Florida. 166,000 people depend on your opinion and your ability to, sort of navigate your way through the different opinions of other people and be reasonable about it all. And you're right. Generic ketchup won't fly. I mean, if it just says ketchup on it, I'm not in. I'm sorry.
And here I am. I'm leading with the negative all the time. I mean, she did a lot.
Of course.
She made a good decision because she shopped.
She made a bad decision. She invited you.
No. In many ways, she bought the good mustard, the Boar's Head Deli mustard.
Oh, that's
which
good
I
stuff.
love
Yeah.
for my.
No doubt, yeah.
She had the Nathan's natural casing hot dog, so we did each start with the Nathan's natural casing hot dog.
So if you ate two, you were ahead of Kobayashi.
I squeezed the great Boar's Head Deli mustard. So major props for that. Okay, I just don't know why I sometimes get triggered by that generic ketchup, and especially when Heinz was BOGO. Once it's BOGO, you're gonna have enough ketchup to last.
I mean, I don't know that anybody would have to know that. I mean, if that wasn't something that you had in your internal intelligence, that Heinz was BOGO yesterday, I can't say that you're not like up on your food. Come on, man.
I'm
Get
a
serious,
total
man. You're out of your mind.
I'm a
You really
sicko.
are. You've lost
She
it
made a
completely.
great pasta salad. She made a great potato chip clam dip for the Ruffles.
And the only thing
potato
you
chips.
mentioned was the generic ketchup.
Not the only thing. I paid out compliments.
First thing you
too.
mentioned on the show.
I said delicious burgers. That was to her son. I said, it was. Oh, and her brother came over and made these shrimp burgers. It was like a shrimp cake where he pureed a bunch of shrimp and put it in with some spices and kind of pan fried them. And I didn't have that on a bun. I had it as a separate thing with some like hot sriracha sauce on it. Actually, the hot sauce that I got from Batch on Sunday, and that's a whole other story. Went with Tom T to celebrate his birthday. That was a great time. I did a lot of eating. Went to a concert at the Hard Rock. Saw Jane's Addiction. I don't know if you know or admire Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction. Does that one ring a bell to you there, Defo?
Zero registration there. Lubie?
Been caught stealing.
Jane's Addiction. I don't know their songs.
Been caught stealing. Mountain Song. There's a bunch of other ones that it's classic band that also the original guitarist Dave Navarro, who you might remember, was married to Carmen Electra at one point.
Oh yeah, wow.
Who
was it, man? Rodman was with her. Everybody.
Yes, Rodman was with her.
Pete Davidson with Electra at any time?
David. Dave Navarro at one point was in Red Hot Chili Peppers too, and then he was with
good band, no doubt.
Jane's Addiction, and he is clean and sober, and he was performing shirtless at age 57. That's something I would not attempt to do.
You got to tell Bonnie to take that picture down of you and her at her 80th birthday party. Just
right.
It's a very unflattering Mayo picture. It's not consistent with the Mayo that we know today.
I own it. And and then before the show, we went to Marky's Caviar. I had a big weekend of eating, but I also want to hear about Lubie had some eating. He went to a trendy place that all the influencers are going, Cafe Bastille. Is that
nice, man.
Lubie?
Cafe Bastille was, we went for brunch Sunday. Shirley's been all over it, and you had driven by and said it's long waits, and it definitely was.
It's bougie. It's a bougie place. That's now gotten...
Bougie is the perfect word for it. We got there at 10, and it still was like a 45-minute wait for two brunch. It ended up being about 25 minutes, which is fine. And actually, it was one of those days where the weather wasn't bad.
So Bonnie, you don't have to take down that photo. I own it. I own what I look like. It's
thinner
okay.
than, and he's not now.
Bonnie's so nice, man. I mean, she hears any negativity surrounding any of her activities.
She's the world's most cheerful person.
Wow.
I can't wait to see her. Me and Val were going up there.
No, I think it's good that picture is circulating. It's probably inspired you to just continue to try and find a better path. No.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
All right.
You need the before picture until you can get to the after.
So,
anyway,
now what happened with Lubie? I had a wild Let's Eat South Florida experience too in Melbourne or Cocoa Beach of all places. Wild.
Well,
I mean, this fit all of the criteria to start.
Ours is very similar.
I tell you what, let's take our first break, and then we're going to give each of you a chance to recap your eating weekends, because I know Lubie was disappointed with his. Defo, I have no idea what happened with you up in Melbourne.
Treasure Coast dining scene, very interesting, Mayo.
Hopping?
Very interesting.
People are moving there.
I have to say, it was an eye opener in a lot of ways. It really was.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, let's take our first break. Let's start off today with our friends at Casa D'Angelo. I was in there last week, and I had a meal that, well, I can't say I paid for it, but Val paid for it. So somebody paid for it. It wasn't a total shawarma meal. And it was fantastic because if you want the best quality and if you're going to be celebrating anything, and I was celebrating a lot last week, and George just celebrated another day of living. Casa D'Angelo, 3 locations, the finest in Italian cuisine, service, quality ingredients, wine list that can't be beat. You got to go on. I guess we're going to be going to the bakery bar. We were supposed to go last week. Angelo had a little hitch in his schedule. We're going to be going there now a week from Wednesday. We're going to do it at an early show. I think we're going to be doing at 11 a.m. So kind of a nice pastry cafe to start the day thing. And that Angelo Ilia Bakery Bar is great. It's on Oakland Park Boulevard. And then, of course, you got the 3 Casa D'Angelos. One is up in Boca Raton with your man, Ricky. One is in Fort Lauderdale, the original flagship, been there for more than 25 years now, right there on 1201 North Federal Highway, right by the Big Bend and Sunrise Boulevard. And then, of course, Aventura also. Go in, check them out. It is the best, the finest. I am always satisfied. Fresh house pastas, all kinds of great seafood specials, and, of course, the classic Italian dishes like veal and so on and so forth. All right, Casa D'Angelo, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we'll get into more right on the other side of this break. We'll hear about what the Space Coast dining scene is like.
That's pretty interesting, I have to say.
It's pretty spacey. And then
But Let's Eat South Florida experience from hell. Unbelievable.
Oh, good. I can't wait because
From
yesterday
hell, man.
I was just
From
stirring
hell.
the pot and just all of them. I mean, receipts. And
This even had like
tipping and
some
split
racial
checks.
undertones to it,
Oh,
which
I don't
was
like
very
that. We don't
strange.
like to get into
Yeah,
that.
I don't want to get into
No
that. but
politics and no racial.
You
But
might have
we'll
looked
talk.
at it that way if you were me. That's for sure.
We'll
Reverse
talk.
racism.
All right,
Yeah.
after these words. And welcome back to Grandpa's Bagel Deli Cafe. We're going to be in there
Hear
in
from
a
them
couple
here.
of weeks on the 18th, getting ready for the high holidays. They are back in the fold after their summer hiatus. Always good to have the Marx brothers, Mark Freed, Mark Goldberg, back on board as official Lunchbox sponsors. So go check them out. The best bagels in town right there. Federal Highway and Southeast 1st Street in Dania Beach. Grandpa's Bagel and Deli. All right.
L'chaim, man.
Yeah.
All right, back with more in a moment.
From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. A little further inland, Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C, 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, That's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We are recounting a big weekend of eating and revelry and other things. Hey, should we do the contest first? Because
Yes.
Lisa
Yeah,
is
no, people are clamoring for the winner.
It's very insistent on the contest.
We definitely strung them along all the
Who
way
won?
on Friday. All right. Well, this is exciting because it's a first-time winner, and
Nice.
it's a name I don't even know if she's entered before. That's great. And what's even better is I didn't have to make any silly slips and start picking
There you
things out
go.
of hats. We've got a uncontested winner. And it was, again, the restaurant. We were going with the Labor Day theme. And so we saluted Blue Collar Restaurant down in Miami, which recently moved across Biscayne Boulevard to a bigger digs. And it's gotten a little bit nicer and spiffier in there, so much so that our friend Carlos Frias, who is now, congratulations to Carlos, he got hired as a contract freelancer, not a full-time staffer, but a contract freelancer with the New York Times, and he's going to be writing some food stuff.
Wait a minute. Wasn't that the job that you were going to apply for?
That was a full-time job. This is
But no, they're shuffling things around because their food critic left, and then they're shuffling some other people into his role, and then
New York
it's kind of like
Times
a
food critic.
totem pole thing there, where you get in at the Times at the bottom of the totem pole, and then you climb your way up. Carlos is definitely,
He's an up-and-coming star in the
he's
business.
great.
If he isn't there already.
Two-time James Beard Award winner, and he
that's big,
renamed. He said, "Blue collar. It's gotten so nice in there. They should rename it White Collar," which I
Wow.
thought was a pretty good line for a guy who's won 2 James Beard writing awards. I'm not jealous.
Try not to show it. I mean, so obviously,
I get to write. I get to herd cats on a group of 166,000 maniacs. That's fine. That's good.
Location,
The pay is good.
name of the
So who's the
city.
winner? Have we gotten?
Okay.
what do we got?
All right. Blue collar. It was great because the Gulfstream contest race was a maiden race scheduled for the turf. The rains knocked it off onto the all-weather track. There were no scratches, which was great. And then the winner was a number 1 horse. I like this name. Hello, hello, hello is the winning horse. So sometimes to pick a winner, all you got to say is hello, hello, hello. And there was 4 people who had that. All 4 picked UM against UF.
Ooh.
And the one who had the biggest margin was, congratulations to Christine Swanson.
nice.
Christine Swanson, first-time winner, might be a first-time player. She had the Canes winning by 14. Of course, the actual margin was 24. So you and a guest have won an all-expense-paid brunch for 2 at 10 Palms Gulfstream Park. Fabulous Joe Beja, if he makes his way back from Tallahassee Disney World celebration of his daughter's 21st birthday, will welcome you to the fabulous 10 Palms Sunday brunch. Always a good time there. So good job well done, Christine Swanson. Throw in a TV dinner into the oven. I wonder if she's related to the
Nice prize to win. Even
Yes.
if she is heir to the Swanson fortune, which I would imagine would be substantial,
Was
considering.
I seeing double? Was I seeing 2 Lubies? Did he split?
I
them?
think did something
Yeah.
weird.
I want to do that. I want to see.
What
2
was your
Lubies.
favorite TV dinner, Mayo?
It would-
Lubie, were you involved in a TV dinner?
My
era?
parents used to do. Was it Swanson's? They had it was chicken parm, and
Chicken farm, wow.
but it was for like a family, and it's not chicken parm. Like you would never order this in a restaurant. But
Terrible.
before Hebrew school, like for a quick meal,
Quick
she would
chicken
do it.
farm from Swanson.
So it's one of those things that even to this day, again, as an adult, and if it was my first time having it, I would look at the person like something was wrong with them. If someone made this for me today, I would definitely eat it and go yum. And it's
What was yours, Defo? Were you a Salisbury?
Probably was a turkey guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the turkey with the gravy wasn't bad. The stuffing, never really came out like it was supposed to. Because for some reason, certain components of the dinner needed more cooking than the others. So, if you weren't going to overcook the turkey, the main course, maybe the peas were frozen still.
So here's the thing. I go back so long, probably you too, that There was no such thing as microwave ovens when I was
No, we
cooking
didn't have that, man.
Swanson dinners. You were
Took
actually
like
sticking them
25 minutes.
in an oven or a toaster oven. Toaster
Sure.
ovens started to become a thing. My two favorite Swanson's dinners was, you're correct, the turkey.
The turkey
dinner
wasn't bad, yeah.
excellent. Salisbury steak was garbage.
No, terrible.
But fried chicken came out surprisingly good.
Fried chicken, not
crispy.
bad. You're right about that.
Fried chicken and the turkey was a toss up. And anytime my parents, I have these distinct memories. My parents would.
You
go
remember
to-
how cool it was when you had to carve like around
Yeah.
a cranberry, whatever it was, the dessert? You had to carve the silver foil, the
It's like a
aluminum foil.
cobbler. I think they
Away,
did a peach
yeah.
cobbler with the.
And it was always like,
turkey.
wow, like I felt like a chef in a big restaurant because I was doing it.
It might have been the start of my critiquing days where I would eat the various Swanson frozen dinners. But
It was
my
a big
parents,
thing back then. I mean, the TV dinners were huge.
I had two older brothers. I was the baby. My parents would go off to Broadway to go to the theater. They just needed to get the heck out of the house on a Friday night. So then my two older brothers would babysit and torture me. And then we would watch remember the Friday night lineup was like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Bob Newhart Show, Carol Burnett Show. This was on a Friday night.
I think mine was more like pro wrestling, the Gillette Fight of the Week, and Bowling for Dollars. So, no, Make That Spare followed all of that. Make
Mine
That
was
Spare was a
TGIF
show,
when I
a
was
bowling
growing up.
show.
So
great.
yeah,
It might have been Saturday night. I'm not sure which night it was.
Childhood memories.
Yeah.
No, the Friday night was that like classic, sitcom lineup. So
That was when you used to do the Jiffy Pop and the thing where, it became like one of those Jamaican hats.
yes,
We were like,
Jamaican hats.
yeah, and then all of a sudden it was like, holy moly. Man.
And then you'd start shouting like at the racetrack. Come on,
You would
man.
just hope that like
and ride.
didn't have like 100 unpopped kernels there at the bottom. You were trying to eat them anyway because you wanted to get your money's worth. No, those were the days, man. Frozen dinners, they've come a long way since. No
I haven't
doubt about
had
it. With
one.
air fryers and all of that, I mean, let's face it,
Yep.
making this stuff is a lot easier than it used
All
to be.
right, we got sidetracked to the Swanson.
So who was the
dinners.
winner? I
Again,
missed one.
Christine
It's
Swanson.
Christine
That's why we're
Swanson.
playing off the whole Swanson frozen TV dinner. Congratulations, Christine Swanson. She might be a first-time participant. I've never seen the name.
I haven't heard her name mentioned as a winner for sure.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
first-time winner for sure. All right, let's get Lubie first. Can you wrap up your bougie experience at this bougie place with bougie people and bougie
So the
people?
line, and outside they do like have like coffee and stuff if you want to buy that. So I guess that at least stems a tide. The weather was nice. And it only be about a 25-minute wait, so it wasn't bad. When you're expecting 45, 25 is not bad. And the weather was fine, so we sat outside and it's by the water. It's a great view. The build
What
out.
water is that? That's a canal? Or,
It's like I guess an offshoot of the I don't know.
of the New
It's
River?
Fort
It's like a-
Lauderdale,
the
It
New
is Fort
River.
Lauderdale.
Yeah.
but it's like a canal. But
It's one
the
of
way
those
they set up
canals.
it looks nice. It looks okay. I will give them full credit. And
Okay.
they've gone all over the place with influencers, whether they're natural or they're paying them, whatever they're doing, they're everywhere. My wife wanted to go. You had heard of it, but there's always a line. Okay, so we went Sunday early, get there around 10, sit outside, and they have a bakery. So, and we like French, and it's a French restaurant, by the way,
Okay.
Cafe Bastille.
Hence
So-
Bastille. Yes.
Yeah. So they have baked goods. So Shirley was like, okay, we should get some baked goods. She goes, and this was the first thing that set off my wife. So, and she's actually the calm patient when we go to restaurants. If you've met me, obviously that's the case. So we ask, oh, we want to get some baked goods. She's like, oh, well, they run out. So order them through me.
Wait,
Or-
huh?
Yes, which was
At
already
10
ruled.
a.m. 10
Yeah,
a.m.
which
on a Sunday is early for a
Yes, that's
place.
what I don't get is why aren't you making new ones? I get like at donut shops, they only do 2 shifts. You make it in the morning and make it later. But if it's a bakery, which is an
Yeah.
option of what this is, like they do baked goods,
They were baking
Sounds like a
biscuits all
lot.
morning long at Batch across the street.
exactly, croissants, all those things. You would think that they make them throughout the day, but whatever. So she says this. We go look. We know what we want. Like okay, so when she comes back, we'll order the baked goods. So she finally comes back. We order our food, and then Shirley's like, oh, by the way, I want. They have cookies, and these
Oh God,
croissant, yeah, whatever.
The
Just to try
croissant
it. We never
cookies.
had it. Fine.
Cookies with the okay.
Yes. So she asked, and the lady's like, "Oh, they're out of them." She's like,
I
"Really?"
hear that's Trump's
you.
favorite breakfast.
I'm sure.
The
So
cookie.
we would have ordered them on our own when we walked over to the bakery. We didn't because of what she told us to do. She took so long to come to us that then we're out of the cookie. So that already pissed Shirley off.
I'm exhausted.
Yes.
So what was
We
the
haven't even
upshot?
gotten to
Was
the okay. So we put
food
the
any
orders in. She gets a drink. I get a coffee, and we get the food. We get her drink. We don't get my drink. Halfway through the meal, we still haven't gotten my drink. The manager comes over and is like, I noticed you haven't gotten your drink yet. I feel really bad. We're going to take your meal
What kind
off.
of drink was it?
It was, they call it a French toast cappuccino. It was actually freaking amazing when it finally came out. I'm not gonna lie, but it was like $8 for a coffee, so that's not the dream, but fine. It was, had a bunch to it and a French toast bite. It was good. Okay, so the manager comes over and he's like, "Look, I noticed you haven't gotten your drink yet. Let me take your meal off, not the drink, your meal."
Oh, nice.
Which is nice. That's a nice move, right? We didn't ask. We didn't even complain at this point because Shirley's very patient about things. We're like, that's cool. That put us in a good mood. Okay, so we get out all the food.
They fixed the mistake. Yeah.
And he finally bring out the coffee. So one of the dishes was this French toast bites that the server suggested. Fantastic. It was really good. Then the other dish was this Milanesa. Remember, we had Milanesa the other day.
Yeah.
Chicken Milanesa Benedict. And this is one of the things the Instagram guy sung about, the TikTok influence. So we're like, we have to get it, right? And it just, the problem was there was barely any hollandaise and it was dry and the chicken itself had no flavor. So
you sound like the Let's Eat people now. You need to put this on Let's Eat and let them have at it. But
it's
annoying when it doesn't come out right. Especially, I imagine. Well, the chicken Milanese Benedict, $18. How much?
It was like $24.
Jesus, that's chicken.
Yes.
It's not even.
It was a nice size, and we wouldn't have cared about the price if it was really good. The problem was it wasn't. The chicken actually had no flavor and was dry as hell.
Pow. So much for the Cafe Bastille sponsorship.
I wouldn't have said any of this to you. We did a thing that I'm going to post later.
I don't want it.
But the next problem is why we left not happy. So remember the guy came over.
Yeah, he comped you on something.
Well, he didn't comp it. The check comes out.
Oh.
And they didn't give us a check. They did one of these freaking digital things
where
they stand next to you and run your thing. So you can't go over the bill.
Oh, you can go over it. If it was me, I'd be going over. I would like grip that iPad out of his thing and say, all right.
It was just, so I went over it, but I didn't remember what the prices were for things. And it didn't really have words, it just had prices. And she's standing there hovering and she has this section and she's clearly behind and doesn't know what the hell she's doing. So it stressed me out. So I just said, sure, or whatever. And she did mention that they came with a tip already. So at least she said that. So I said, okay, fine. We're going over the numbers before we leave. And Shirley's like, that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't have been that price if they took the dish off. So we asked the server, they then go to the guy. The guy said, "Oh yeah, I didn't take it off."
Yeah, they did the fake takeoff. That's bad.
Which is worse. I'll do it now, but it was a debit card. How do you add money later on a debit card? I don't even know how that works.
You already ran the check. You ran the debit card. He didn't take it off. Then you got to take it off. They give you those a credit. Next thing you know, you got the South American hackers are charging you for furniture in Brazil after getting your credit card.
So a very short story made long. That's why we left pissed, and that's why we probably.
Oh, it was a pretty long story, but it was good. I liked it.
Reasonable, behavior on your part.
It's not cheap, and the service is and the food is hit or miss. Like that's
what was the name of this joint, Lubie?
Cafe Bastille.
Cafe Bastille. Where is that at? Bastille. It's across from the Badge.
No, it's pretty much it's downtown Fort Lauderdale. Just as you get out of the tunnel coming north on Federal,
if you turn right.
Turn right. The first right out of the tunnel coming north on Federal, and it's in this little side street.
Not a ringing endorsement from
wedged between two high-rise buildings. It always makes me feel claustrophobic going down that street. But I'm going to chide you now, Lubie. You know what you did wrong?
What?
I'm sure you did a lot wrong. No, well, yeah, that's true. You followed the wrong influencers. You should be following the Lunchbox recommendations.
I do.
Batch.
This wasn't me.
Yeah, I waltzed right into Batch. They had the table waiting for us. It was and let me tell you, on Sunday we got there about noon with Tom T, and it was his belated birthday celebration.
Tennessini loved it, which is always a ringing endorsement for me.
There to greet us, Vanessa. I mean, the whole crew. Obviously, they know who I am and who we are, but the place was hopping, and still everything came out like on point. We ordered a bunch of appetizers. Love Batch. Tom T loved it, and chefs are not one to sing false praises, and we had like 12 different things. He liked 11 out of the 12.
Wow. Jesus. Did he try to jambalaya?
Jambalaya is not available during the weekend brunch hours.
Okay,
so
Tom T makes probably the premier jambalaya that we've had, but I mean, right up there would be.
You know what he really loved? He had those, the burnt end brisket
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
appetizer with.
Nice.
They have the barbecue sauce that they make with their own house-made root beer, and it was he just loved it. He was digging that. We had the deviled eggs. We had shrimp and grits. I had what Lubie had one time, that chicken skillet with the fried chicken strips with some eggs on top and grits and cheesy grit. It was good. Batch, we love them. 525 North Federal Highway. Free. We did the free parking in the garage next door. Easy peasy. So again, going to Batch, it's a beautiful thing. All right, Defo, I want to hear more about.
Oh, a little more Treasure Coast. Okay, yeah. When we come back, we'll do something like that.
Yeah, we still have
Sounds
more
perfect. We'll wrap it up with a trip up the Trevor Coast.
A whole different scene. Very interesting dining scene, though, Mayo.
And I want to hear this LESF story potentially in the making.
Oh no, this was a beauty of Lubie proportions here. I mean, right along the same lines.
Great day. All right,
rude
we'll be back.
And just horrific service.
Oh, really?
That's it. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. A sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. Yes, Defo was the traveling man for Labor Day.
Yeah.
Tell me what you found. What city is it? Melbourne, or is it?
It was up in the Melbourne area there. I guess it's all kind of one and the same. Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, that sort of stuff. Growing area, no doubt. Interesting restaurant scene. I don't know that they have the highest number of elevated upscale restaurants, kind of Mayo-esque restaurants, but I didn't really seek any of those out. But in terms of like elevated casual, tons of places.
Good seafood?
Well, I mean, yeah, all kinds of stuff. It was very much Keys oriented.
Yep, the
where
vibe.
you had, like a little seafood shacks and places that you thought, wow, this place has been here 100 years. Probably great. We ended up in a place, though, I mean, for the Let's Eat South Florida group, they can appreciate this. Trying to find a mutual place, someplace that would be equidistant for the people that were all getting together there. Some friends that I have from Melbourne area are going to meet us. And so there's a place called Cocoa Town, which is being like a sort of a developed area, sort of like Flagler District and maybe Wynwood a few years back. They're trying to develop this into a hip happening place. A lot of nice restaurants there. So we just perusing through on Google on the way up there, and we see a place called Cajun Soul in Cocoa Town, which was about equidistant for everybody, so it was convenient. The other people that were coming had heard of the place. Looked great. So we get in there, and sure enough, they got a couple of empty tables. They're having a private party in one half of the restaurant. And I would have to say that as Caucasians, we were very much in the minority, the people that were in this Cajun Soul restaurant. And it wasn't like that was necessarily the demographic of the entire area, but certainly in this place. And the only reason I bring that up is because I did feel like maybe there was a little bit of a cold wall that was being built between. A friendly guy greets us right away and says, "Oh, great, we're going to clear off one of these tables. You guys will be seated right away. Party of 5. We're going to spend money, Mayo," because we were ready to party. I hadn't seen one of my friends in a couple of years, and we were ready to go. They never clean off the table, and they have us squeezed in a bar that had no seats, and no one ever comes to serve us or offer us a drink. The guy walks by several times, never makes an offer to serve us a drink. I mean, like, I thought they were going to ask us if they could dance with our girlfriends after a while, but very much out of the Blues Brothers, this scene. Anyway, what happens is just to give you an idea of what transpired. So never an offer of a drink, and then finally, after the guys telling us for a long time that they're going to clear off one of these tables, which they never do, and we're going to be seated. Eventually, and I was already sitting down like somewhere else at another area, just waiting for us to get a chance to get something to eat. And the food looked great, by the way, it really did. Finally, the guy that was sort of the maitre d', I guess, or was running the place, comes over and says, "Hey, could you guys move away from the bar, man? You're in the way." Even though they have like 3 or 4 tables that could have easily been cleared off in the 20 minutes that we're waiting in there, and we ended up. Just saying, okay, forget about this.
You walked. You took a walk.
I had to take a walk at that point. I mean,
you took the hint, I guess. And look, I hate to allege
that was really weird. I mean, there were other people of our persuasion in there.
So,
but it was just weird, the treatment. I've never seen anything quite like that in terms of just blowing you off completely after you came into our restaurant.
You think they knew you were Jewish?
I don't know. You know what? I mean, and I have to say, the food that was coming out of the kitchen really looked good. And obviously, from an ethnic standpoint, they were
So
hitting a home
here's what I'm
run
going to say, because
with
this
their people.
is a reverse of sometimes people put in posts on Let's Eat, and I don't approve them because and usually it's people who are of African American descent, Caribbean American, who go into a restaurant and again get some lackadaisical or non-existent service, and they go right to assuming that it's because of their race. I don't know, like
It could have been hospitality and ineptitude just
it
overall.
could be many things. It
Very
could be
possible.
just one of
Yeah.
those places that's locals only place. And if they see some interlopers,
I
they
don't know
figure,
about that. No, I didn't get that impression.
all
I
right,
just thought it was lame overall. We ended up oddly at a place next door, very nice, appointed restaurant, which billed itself, and I forget the exact name of the place, but it billed itself as a Southern kitchen. And what's interesting, for all of the
Right.
people in South Florida, that and if the place was fine, but if you were going to compare it to, I mean, this is almost like you with your, Anthony's clam bar compared to Runway 84. I don't. The prices were reasonable, and the food was good, but compared to Batch Southern Kitchen,
Yeah, that's the
it was.
problem.
I mean, we're spoiled here, Mayo.
pale
We
and-
really are. I mean, honestly, a tremendous, noticeable, perceivable
Right.
difference. Even though their presentation was very good. Very good. So we're lucky to have some of these places that we have down
We
here.
are lucky. And I'm remiss. I didn't mention Batch. Again, they're converting the Delray Beach location into the full-fledged
No, they want.
Southern kitchen and tap concept. That's going to be opening this Wednesday. They move fast. Kevin was up there working
Nice.
all weekend. And again, that's going to be supposedly opening to the public. They're going to have a little party, VIP party that I've been invited to. I guess everybody can go on Wednesday. But again, they're going to be opening their Batch Delray Beach New Southern Kitchen this Wednesday, and then we're going to be in there to do the show there the following Thursday on the
Nice.
12th. So that's going to be good. Oh, and good news, we've rejiggered our schedule, and we're going to be at our friend Brian. Wicked Cheesesteak is on the calendar for tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful.
We're going to be taking
Tomorrow.
a trip up to a place called Butcher and the Bar. Great little funky kind of good high end. Well, not high end. It's very like casual. It reminds me of Even Keel Fish Shack because it's elevated food in one of those comfortable settings in Boynton Beach, not on the ocean, but a little bit inland, but great little spot. They make their own house made like sausages and porchetta and hot dogs, and they're going to be hosting. They're going to be doing this. Cocktail competition in the next, I guess, couple of months, and I'm going to be judging. The opening round is going to be held at Butcher in the Bar next Monday, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that.
Nice.
I think they're calling it Beach Brawls or something because it's all these bars that are along these beachfront communities. So that's going to be fun. Eric Anderson, the owner, we're looking forward to that Thursday. All kinds of stuff going on. You can go onto the Mike Mayo's Lunchbox Facebook page for the full September lineup. Has been taking shape. It's great. 2 more notes before we go, and I got to get out the door to take Val to the airport. But it's Dine Out Lauderdale. September is here, but Dine Out, the deals keep rolling on all month long because Dine Out Lauderdale continues through the end of this month. Go online to dineoutlauderdale.com, and don't forget it's in conjunction with our friends at the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, and you could go online to VL Food Wine to get your early bird tickets and scan out all the different events going on. The festival will be here before you know it in January of 25. And last but not least, Tropical Acres Steakhouse. People have been clamoring already. They're starting to think about Thanksgiving. It's hard to believe people are making that Thanksgiving reservations, and one of the perennial great places to go with a big group for the holiday is Tropical Acres. Give them a call at 954-989-2500. 954-989-2500. Tropical Acres. Get your name in the book. The reservations book for Turkey Day will be here before you know it. All right, Defo, we did it.
Digging and rave reviews, by the way, for Tropical Acres. Well deserved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loving the
Yeah.
comments of the people
Love it.
on Let's Eat.
I am
Somewhat
going to be
cynical.
dropping by there myself
Yeah.
for happy hour today before
Nice.
the poker tournament at the Hard Rock. So I'm going
Nice.
to say hi to the gang.
Well, wait a minute. Let me check this out. Val's out of town, man. You're driving her to the airport. You're already at Tropical Acres happy hour, and then the Hard Rock.
Then Hard Rock for a little.
What if she circles back, Mayo?
And I'll go back to the house after I got knocked out of the tournament, probably
All
in the first
right.
hour. All right, I'm out of here. We'll see everybody from Wicked Cheesesteak tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful, man. I
Tom
love
P
Brian.
did the Bang Bang. He went right from Batch with his friend.
Oh, to
Chris
Wicked? Get out of here.
to Wicked and picked up some cheesesteaks. I hope he ate
Oh,
them later in
really?
the day,
Oh,
but
geez, good.
Tom is digging Brian and the cheesesteaks, and I dig them too.
Nice.
It's, good
They
stuff.
would get along, man. And there are two people of a similar ilk.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
very good people that know how to cook.
That's going to do it for today. Thanks for everybody's experiences. It was a busy, eventful weekend, and we'll do it again tomorrow from Wicked Cheesesteaks. If you're around in that North Federal Highway Commercial Boulevard area, drop on by and say hi to us. And maybe I'll buy you. I'm feeling so flush now. I'll buy you a bag of chips. It's gonna
Buy him a pizza. Come on, one of those great pizzas. Come on.
What
Don't be so cheap. These are your loyal followers.